Welcome to Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, where every conversation sparks new insights. Join us as we delve into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are shaping our world. Movers and shakers in tech, policymakers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and all those whose stories are worth telling. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Welcome, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Impact Masters Podcast. You can check us out on all social media platforms. You can also find us across all podcast channels. Simply search for Impact Masters, then subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. Here's your host, Michael Kamathi.
Yes.
So, Chief, you went to the US after Strathmore, right?
Okay.
And you built all these academies. You did research that was really used to the grassroots.
Yes.
And you stayed there for how long?
17 years.
17 years.
For sure.
Were you doing engineering works?
I started doing administrative later on because of a position that opened up. I started working with an oil company. And so mine became more administrative.
What is that?
What happened? There's a family company called Colson Oil. Colson Oil, it was the largest independently family-owned oil petroleum business in that state, oil marketing. And so I joined them together with people we finished college with to be able to kind of work with them at that time. Before then, I was also working at another industry that deals...
What does administration mean?
Administration means overseeing all the outlets. It involves a lot.
And this is something else that I need to ask you, because also I've seen a lot of friends who are out there. Also, I've heard stories from people who come back. Why do you do electrical engineering, but you do administration work? Is there no electrical engineering jobs also in US, or how does this work? Or you just, the paper first, you secure the bag first and then figure out, do I need to do electrical engineering or... What was this?
What happens is in life, whatever card you're dealt with, you work with. If you're given lemons, make lemonade. You cannot make orangeade. You know what I mean? So in this case, I did start first initially before I started working with them. I was working with another company called Deluxe. Deluxe, they're the ones who did all the CDs or DVDs.
Oh, I see.
This was back then.
That is printing, the engineering work that goes into it and everything.
And they have all the machineries. Yeah. So I used to pull night shifts there, on those machines.
That is after graduating?
No, I was still in school.
Okay.
Still school. So later on, before I finished school, there was this position that was open. And I saw oil is... It's a growing industry in Kenya. It was more like that thing you wanna know before you go back home. You know what I mean? I wanna get the whole 9 yards about everything about petroleum.
Nice.
I want to know the whole 9 yards. I want to know from the beginning to the end how this business works. So by the time I'm going back home, I have something to contribute to. Because when I was looking at DVDs, I couldn't see the future of that in Kenya. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I couldn't. The technology was way ahead of us.
Tell you what.
Yes.
I think in Kenya, there was so much DVD, CDs consumption more than anywhere else through piracy.
Yes.
And a lot of, and I have to say the way it is. That, people, not everyone who can afford $9-10 to go and watch a big screen movie. And this actually also created a lot of opportunities. I know it's wrong for the guys who create the content and everything. It's not right, but that's how innovation is spread. Even when you look about programming and the technology right now, you can get all these books online, tutorials for free. You just need to invest on the internet.
That's it.
Which is actually cheaper.
Yes.
So back to the DVD, CDs.
Yes.
I don't think you are right. You saw like there's no future, but in terms of consumption, we consumed a lot of DVDs and CDs.
Yes. And we're looking at this year was what? The year 2001, right? This is a long time
back
ago.
In the day.
Yeah.
Because people have stopped. Even right now, there are people who ban CDs and DVDs for movies, music, and all this kind of stuff. But it's phasing out.
Yes.
And this actually, maybe let me give us a short story about myself. So there's this time I was thinking I had a studio, like a whole DJ Academy studio.
Yes.
I said, since at the end of the day, there are people who are asking for movies.
Yes.
Why don't I buy the duplicator? Which burns like 8-9 CDs at a time.
Nice.
With a master.
Okay.
Guess what?
Yes.
I bought the old duplicator. It was very expensive.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I realized people are coming with the flash disc. I have that duplicate until now. So that's story for that. So it shows you how fast, and this actually didn't take, it's in a span of months.
Wow.
Right now, people don't go and get the CDs and DVDs. They go with a flash disk, which is 16 gigabytes.
Yes.
Get the movie. Once they are done with the movie, they delete and get more space for that.
Yes.
So it shows you how much technology transitions. And I think these will actually contribute to our main story that we are going to talk about in a few.
Okay.
So you get into this company that burns CDs and DVDs. Was it the only company in US or just
it
one
was
of the
largest.
The largest company.
Yes, it was the largest.
Yeah.
And so anytime a movie came out in Hollywood, we were the first people to get. So even before they do the premieres and shows, I had seen all the movies.
Oh my goodness.
Because when you're fixing the machines, what do? You watch the movies too.
Few movies there.
So I watched a lot of movies back then. I didn't get addicted to movies somehow. I don't know why. Because... so
is it wrong to be addicted to movies?
Well, is it adding value? At the end of the day, I always ask myself.
I see.
Up to now, it's hard for me to sit down and watch a TV show. I'm sorry to say this,
but you can watch a movie 1 hour 30 minutes, and
even that is hard. I think the older you get, the more responsibilities you get, the more purpose thinking you become, the more it's more like, how is it adding to the vision?
True.
How is it adding to me as where I'm heading to? So something I learned early on in life, and that's where some habits never caught me, because it was all like, at the end of the day, what have I gained? What value has been added to me?
Yeah.
It's the good book says all things might be good, but not all things are beneficial.
I see.
So it's good, but is it beneficial?
Yeah.
So that's always my gauging point. Is it adding value? If it's not, it's not a big deal.
You skip. Okay.
It's not adding,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Yes. So that became the mindset. So jumping into the oil company, I learned the whole 9 yards. That is from downstream to upstream, because they had the whole, the whole business laid out. So it was more like a learning process of business in the oil field.
Yeah.
And this I did for 11 years. And then there's always that thing of, what am I doing back at home? What am I doing back at home?
And your mindset was like when I go back at home, I have this knowledge that I can implement. So there was that purpose driven why you're in the US, why you're doing what you're doing.
That's it. That's it.
And by the way, this speaks to something I wanted to ask you when you get that point.
Okay.
That we have so many intellectuals all over the world, not only in the US, but all over the world. And I hear some of them are heading in like serious, engineering companies, serious military companies.
Yes.
That means we are smart.
Extremely so. Extremely.
I wanted to ask you, why did you just come back to visit or just come back and do stuff around here?
It was progressive. It was more like a 2-year thinking, 3-year plan. So in terms of, I knew I have to go back.
Yeah.
Point is, at what point? At what time? So I needed to have skills that add value on the ground as soon as I land.
Yeah.
So I started earlier on, engaging in drilling of boreholes. So even before I landed here, there was a business of drilling boreholes
that was ongoing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at least this was like more of a cushioning thing.
That's
you know what I mean?
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah. So when you land, there's something that you've been working over the years.
Yeah.
So it kind of cushions you up.
Yeah.
Because you're coming from a first world country where things are convenient.
So you need shock absorbers.
Exactly. I mean, somebody just came from the US the other day, and this is what she told me. Coming back home is a 180 degree, which means you turn back, it's like where you just came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're looking at the past. You're not looking at the future.
Yeah.
So she was like, man, I'm still trying to adjust a little bit. This place is the opposite of where I just came from.
Yeah.
Because the systems work. I mean, you go to a public office, you will get the service. You're not doing the public officer a favor.
Okay.
Because that's the mentality. Go to many offices whereby it's like you're doing them a favor. You see what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, this aspect, customer service. I saw our governor set up a CC for customer service.
Yeah.
which was kind of insightful. No, I'm sorry, but it was insightful. No, I get him. You know, I connect.
Yeah.
I do connect.
Yeah.
Because customers, when I landed here, it was one of the shortcomings that jumped off the plane to me.
Yeah.
The courtesy of serving somebody. The decency of going an extra mile for you to do what you're supposed to do. You know, somebody said this, another lady, she was a nurse, you know, a nurse in one of the hospitals here.
Yeah.
So when she went to the US, she ended up doing nursing.
Yeah.
And so she started working in the hospitals.
Yeah.
And, you know, she called back and she was like, you know what? I had to repent of... And she was serious about this one. She truly was serious. Of all the services I gave in the hospital while I was still in Kenya. Yeah. Because of the attitude, the mindset.
I think the nurses need to hear this.
I'm sorry, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
This is a society I lived for 17 years.
Yeah.
If you don't deliver what you're supposed to deliver.
Yeah.
Because the other day when His Excellency was appointing the ministers, he was very adamant on the aspect of delivery of service by the ministers and said that there will be no laxity on that issue. If something is a role you've been given, give it your heart.
Yes.
Give it your mind. Give it your soul. Serve. Serve with joy. Serve. You know, something is we close doors for ourselves.
Yeah.
The reason I say we close doors for ourselves, do you know it's in service that you grow?
True.
And this is what will bring us to the Rotary issue. Yeah. Rotary is all about service above self.
Yes.
And according to the Rotary, that's the Rotary motto, that you become served better by you offering the service of yourself.
Yes.
So the point of service, you know, it was interesting when I saw Sakanja putting that docket under CC. Who would think of a minister for customer service? Think about it. There has to be a certain pain point in the society he kind of identified with. He was like, you know, something needs to be done.
True.
And better.
Yeah.
Because this is a government office. We need to have an international standard of service to humanity.
Yes.
This person is a human. Yeah. This person is sick.
Yes.
The other day, somebody died when Sakanja, Honorable, His Excellency Sakanja went to one of the hospitals. And somebody had died just because of negligence.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In a hospital.
Yeah, the kid who had the djembe dug into the brain.
You see, I mean, I mean, it's sad.
That's just one of the cases, actually.
It's a sad issue. It's a sad issue.
I think the reason why even we're talking about this, and remember this is happening in Nairobi.
Yes.
Now, if you multiply that to the 52 countries, and then different places, towns and cities that they have, you see how many people just lose because of that. And do you think maybe we don't really appreciate the people who offer this service better, or we don't show them the importance of humanity? Or what can we do to make sure that these people actually feel like, you know, if I was the one looking for this service, what would I expect?
It comes down to the spiritual aspect. Spiritual aspect is do unto others as you'd like others to do unto you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
All men are equal. All men are equal. No question about it.
Yeah.
Point is that issue of competitiveness. You know what I mean?
So we are brainwashed to think we are better than others.
Sad story of which we are not at the end of the day. And this was one of the things that kind of drove the government under the Obama administration. I was there when that was happening.
Yes.
All humans matter. All humans matter. All humans.
Yes.
Binadamu ni binadamu.
Yes.
So all men are created equal.
Yeah.
There's need for that to be realized, especially in the public service. So the spirituality aspect of this is the practice of what you learn, you know, in terms of spiritual matters. And I think this is what plays a role in terms of you seeing other people as humans. It does play a role. There's no question about it. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Yes.
So if at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, you know, like somebody said, look at the stars in the sky. They all shine.
Yeah.
They all shine.
Yeah.
Some shine brighter than others because they are closer to you.
Yes. But they all shine.
Not because they're better than the other star.
Oh.
The other star just farther from you.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So there's space for everybody to shine. But how does everybody shine? By being put on an equal pedestal. The ground is level.
Yes.
You make something out of yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of the government, to create that environment in such a way that anybody, you will be measured but your output. The ground has been made level.
Yeah.
The seeds you plant are the seeds you sow. And that's one thing about the American government I also noticed.
Yes.
What you put into that system is what you get back.
Yes.
An equal press down measure is what you get back.
Yes.
You don't have to dig a lot.
Yeah.
Why? Because policies have been put in place. The system has been put in place to ensure all the I's have been dotted, T's have been, to ensure there's equality, inclusivity, to ensure that whatever I put, katika mchanga, whatever I put in this soil is what will come back to me.
Absolutely.
See, as long as that, so it's an issue of making sure that soil is good for growth.
Yeah.
That environment is conducive for nurturing.
Yeah.
Once that environment, then people will shine. As you mentioned, we have a lot of Kenyans doing extremely well outside this country, which is true. And that also kind of comes to light when it comes to Honorable His Excellency Sakanja, when he appointed as an advisory the person who runs, who has been critical to building the infrastructure transport network in UK. He's part of the advisory committee for that, transportation docket.
But he's a Kenyan.
And he's a Kenyan. And he's doing that in the UK.
Yeah.
And we're suffering here in Nairobi. It doesn't make sense. So it's an issue of all these giftings and talents, they found a conducive location for them.
An environment.
A conducive that allowed... you go to Dallas-Fort Worth. There was a time the person who was running, I don't know if she's still there, who was running that airport was a Kenyan.
Yeah.
If such a person came back to Kenya, will they be able to give the same kind of...
They would be killed.
That my point is...
Or they would be jobless.
Jobless is more like it. Let's now let me shock you here. Let me shock you here. The first iPad on the face of the earth by Apple. Guess who designed it? Elvis Mwenda Kibiti. Elvis Mwenda Kibiti.
The first iPad.
Elvis Mwenda Kibiti.
Yeah.
A Kenyan.
Yeah.
He was one class behind me in high school. He goes to the US. He has over 139 patents or something.
Yeah.
With Apple.
Yeah.
Recently, he was taken by Facebook. He's in charge of the Facebook labs, the Meta labs. But look at his history. All the patents are listed online.
Yeah.
So this is something you can look and verify.
Yes.
Okay. So in this environment of ours, we're talking of manufacturing sector. We are looking at Rwanda is already producing its own cell phones.
Yeah.
And we are looking at us as a country.
Yeah.
Will this have been the best place for him to grow to the level he's grown?
Absolutely not.
So which means there's something missing. What's missing? That environment.
Yeah.
We have a department, parastatal, that deals with innovations in Kenya.
Yeah.
I'd welcome to know how much they've achieved. Because we have so many dockets in Kenya, so many parastatals. Some are like...
Because most of them actually act like rewards and the guys who are put in place there, maybe the intention is not to help anyone. It's just another job with a better salary, with a better package.
Yes.
Whereas people forget that, there's no much enough money in this world that you can make.
Yes.
And if you're not serving people, even it's really hard to get to that point where you're saying we have more resources that we can even have more better packages.
Yes.
And I think we need to change the mindset. I think the biggest problem of Africans, and even the reason why we're doing this is to change the mindset from the mindset of, you know what?
Yes.
Abundance.
Yes.
There's more than enough for everyone.
True. Literally.
If you get it as Engineer Felix, it doesn't mean MK loses it.
Nope.
It's not a zero-sum game that you're living in. Nope. So we need to be there. And for us to be there, one of the things that I think we should do, and you can contribute to this, is that we need to move from the point of being selfish.
Yes.
And be selfless.
Yes.
What I mean is that if you are doing something, do it really good.
True.
Do it without caring, what am I getting out of it?
Yes.
Or what my friends, my brothers, my relatives are getting from it.
Yes.
And then with that aspect, we are able to move from point A to B.
Yes.
Over time.
Yes.
And imagine if 1.4 billion people
are
all doing this. It's a powerhouse. And most of these guys are young.
Yes.
Like 80% are below 50 years old.
True.
Which means they're young enough to contribute to the economy engine, the social engine, the community engine, and whatnot.
True. I totally agree. Yeah. Competition is, as I said, compete with yourself.
Yeah.
That's the best standard.
Yeah.
Best standard is compete with yourself. And the attitude that definitely should always be the case is that it's not about me. And it should never be about you.
Yeah.
It should be about what difference can you make in the life of another.
Yes.
For example, this is more like a ministry.
Yeah.
I can say so
comfortably.
It's more like missionary work.
Yeah.
I can say so comfortably.
Yeah.
Reason I say so, it's because what you're called to do, you're supposed to do it with appreciation of the sanctity of life.
Yeah.
Appreciate life.
Yeah.
As in the person next to you, there's something you can add of value to them.
Yes.
And don't expect anything back, because that's what now kills progress.
Yes.
When you expect something back, let your satisfaction be in the perfection of the service you give, the excellence of the service you give. Was it your best? Is it the 67% you're trying to pride with, or is it the 100% you're capable to do?
Yeah.
Capable to do.
Yeah.
Do you know the more you push yourself, the better you become as a person?
Absolutely.
Don't settle for 67% I'm ahead of the game. Is that your 100%?
Nah.
If it's not, you're still not ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Because the more you learn to push yourself, the more you learn that, guess what? It's never about me, but the results and the good I can bring in the lives of others.
Yes.
And that's what will serve you too. Your needs will always be... You see, everybody appreciates good things in life.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, there's somebody called Vusi Dembakwayo. And one of his emphasis was that whatever service you give of excellence, it will never be too expensive for somebody to pay if it meets the need. And he gave this when he was giving a good example. He said, if I walk into a Toyota shop and then I go to a Lamborghini shop and I start telling the sales associate that it's too expensive and I'm looking at the Toyota.
Yeah.
What value are you getting from the Lamborghini that the Toyota doesn't have to justify the cost of it? Because there are people who walk into the Lamborghini and buy that Lamborghini. Why? Because they know the value of it. They know what are the extra features and packages that come with it you won't find in a certain Toyota.
True.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll still buy it. Why? Because of the value. Yes. The value.
Yes.
So point is, people will pay you for the value you give to them. You add to their lives.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Nothing can be too expensive for a price tag if the excellence of it is serving a certain need.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what happens is, if you stop yourself from giving somebody service because you're not actually... There's a certain community. I lived in the US for a while. And you'll find that there's a certain population that always loves doing handiwork. Handiwork. You find the Latino population, they delve so much into doing work by hand.
Yeah.
And people, they pride in their work.
Yeah.
And people love hiring them. Anytime you want a house to be built, the first people you kind of lock in is them.
Yeah.
Because they pride in that work.
Yeah.
And because they always become the default. The
go-to people.
Exactly. Because, these people, it's not about the money to them. It's about the quality of service they can give to you.
Yeah.
That always jumps out in that community. Always jumps out. So anytime you want this kind of service, you find yourself defaulting to calling somebody to do that for you.
Yeah.
So my point is, they've created a niche for themselves. They created an interesting perspective about themselves that we love doing handiwork and we deliver with excellence.
Yeah.
Not based upon how much you can pay me. There's definitely that we've agreed upon.
Yeah.
But the major sense of my pride is in the excellence of my work.
Absolutely.
And that's what needs to be kind of showcased.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, whatever service you're giving, let it be that is the focus. And if that is the focus, the right price tag will always come to you. The right price tag will always come to you.
Even you don't need to ask.
Trust me, it will come to... And when you ask for it, they won't have a problem to give it.
Absolutely.
Because they themselves, they will connect and absolutely agree that you deserve it.
Yes.
You deserve it.
Yes.
You see, life has a way of creating balance. Life has a way of creating balance. Implication is justice will always take place. It might not be in 10 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 hour, but the will come back and deliver what it's supposed to in terms of what you deserve.
Yeah.
If this is what you deserve, trust me, it will take place. Life was, and that's why when this thing about COVID happened, it started in one part of the world, but affected the entire system. And other countries. Point of this is this. An injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. A justice in one place is a justice everywhere. Life has a way of creating balance. And that's why, boiling down to a point we'll talk about on environmental matters is, if we don't take care of our environment, we are killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Because environment will take care of itself.
Yes.
And guess who will be eliminated? You. You, the cause of it. Because life was created balanced. And it will retain that balance.
If you like it or not.
Trust me on that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you can't fight the force of gravity, can you? You can jump from the air and tell gravity, I'm fighting against you, but you still come down to it.
That's a very good analogy. Now that you're talking about environment and is it Rotaract or
Rotary Club?
Rotary Club.
Yeah, Rotary organization.
So how are these two related? Because there is what you're talking about, climate change, the commitment of companies like Google, Atlassian, Amazon, all these big FAANG company committing to, like, by 2025 to 2030, they will be operating at zero carbon emission energy, things to do with renewable energy,
for sure,
which actually preserves the environment. But it goes beyond that, for sure, because these are just, if you put this company together, maybe they don't have a total of more than 10 million employees and what they consume. But they play a key role in leadership.
Yes, they do.
Because also they're not only saying it, but they're putting dollar into it to make sure that it happens.
Exactly.
I know, like, the CEO of Atlassian, one of the companies that I've been associated with for some time, Mike Cannon Brooks, has been very active on Twitter and also influencing, the policy, the government policy, because all these key stakeholders ought to come together for this to make sense. For you as Rotary, are you working independently? Are you working as Rotaracts? Or how is this working?
Rotary organization was formed in the year 1905. And how it was formed there, it was professionals led by Mr. Paul Harris. They came together. They're all from different professions. There was an engineer, there was a doctor, a businessman. They're all different professions. And so they came together asking themselves the same thing we started with in the conversation. The knowledge you have, how is it adding value to the society? How is it adding value to the community? What you know, is it adding value? Is it adding value? So they came together and the question was, what can we do with our skills, with our competence, with our network, with our ability to make the society in Chicago, because that's where it started, better.
Is it a secret society?
It is not a secret society. We are too open. If you go to Rotary International, you find everything about us there. So nothing is secret about it. We are open. In fact, quite the opposite. Remember, we talked about open door policies, open door government. That's what
anyone can join.
Anybody can join.
Do they need to pay anything?
Definitely. There has to be that pot that sustains the activities.
For you to take, you have to give.
Exactly.
So how much is the joining fee?
Let's start from here. There's a Rotary International. We start from there. So, and the headquarters.
That's a good aspect you have brought into it. So when you join Rotary Club, do you join the international? Is it the branch? How does it work?
Exactly. We'll come down to that. So there's the Rotary International. From the Rotary International, we go to the district level. The district level is formed of several countries. Now, the district Kenya is in is called District 9212. It's formed by Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, and South Sudan. Uganda and Tanzania, they're in a different district. This was just the mechanics of formation because, entry points, so we cannot decide why they were part of that.
This is beginning to sound like something else, but it's okay. Go ahead.
It's all right. So point is that Kenya is in that district of District 9212. And so we have Ethiopia, Eritrea, we have South Sudan, and then we have Kenya. Now, from there, we have what we call each country office. There's a country office. So we have the country office in Kenya, and then under the country office, now we have the clubs themselves, which are in different regions. Different regions of the country. And so, but on an administrative level, it's just from the Rotary office of Kenya to the particular specific club. So there's no in between like a regional office or something of the sort. There's none whatsoever. You have that direct connectivity. And so they have different positions in every club, but we have some main positions. And these are based by the causes, the pillars of Rotary. We have polio. In fact, when it was formed, the main agenda was to eradicate polio from the world. basically science behind it. As I said, there are professionals who came together.
The Rotaract funded the process of coming up with the vaccine, or they made the vaccines themselves, or how did they work?
Let me define something else before we go far. We have Rotary, we have Rotaract, then we have Interact.